Thank you for the introduction, and thank you everyone for joining this session. So I am Yazan, a PhD student at Aarhus University, and today I'm presenting our paper, The Anatomy of an Architect's Argument, formally capturing socially oriented design intentions in the built environment. This paper is co-authored by my colleague PhD student Anna Kristoffersen and architect Gustaf Lohm, as well as my supervisors Karl Schultz and Aliakbar Kamari. This paper is part of the Pro Bono project, an EU-funded project, integrator-centric approach for realizing innovative energy-efficient buildings in connected, sustainable green neighborhoods. I show you a quick agenda for today. I will start with a brief introduction of the paper. I will define the problem statement and the project aim. I will show you the research questions on which the paper is based, and then I will introduce the ProFormalize framework which is presented in the paper. Then I will quickly go back to revisit the research questions and give you some information about the future work. So stakeholders of large construction projects are highly concerned with sustainability aspects. Sustainability is believed to have three major pillars, including environmental, economical, and social sustainability. In my project, we primarily focus on social sustainability aspects, and such aspects include criteria that directly affect the health and well-being of building occupants, such as visual comfort, indoor air quality, water quality, and so on. In the built environment, these criteria are usually assessed based on the building certification systems, such as DGNB and BREEAM. And according to these assessments, the buildings are granted some premium or golden degrees or scores. I will show you a quick example about what I mean by socially oriented aspects in the built environment. For example, I've been in close contact with one of the expert architects in renovation projects. He showed me buildings around Aarhus University. One case is represented in this picture here. The argument says, installing artwork in the workplace would increase the sense of belonging to the workplace. And as we can see in the picture, there are on the left hand side pieces of artwork, and they are supposed to improve the sense of belonging of the building occupants towards their workplace. So the problem statement is that during the design phase of the building construction process, we have different stakeholders, and each of them have wide range of design documentations and regulations, building codes to follow. And during the flow and movement of these building documentations between them, there is a risk of losing some of these intentions, especially those that are implicitly included in the building design. So instead of sending or moving these design intentions in the form of reports and diagrams to the stakeholders, we propose a different approach. That approach suggests that those design intentions should be integrated directly into the digital model, and then we have a building model that includes these social intentions just as they include other types of objects. And then those digital models are then distributed onto those multiple stakeholders. The aim of this project is to develop a software tool that will help architects to integrate their socially oriented design intentions into the digital building model. What I mean by a socially oriented design argument, it is exactly those two components, the design activity and the socially oriented design intention. Design activity can include anything from installing windows to using a specific kind of furniture or artwork. And those design activities have to specifically target socially oriented aspects, such as privacy. So we might install curtains to improve the sense of privacy. We might install pieces of artwork to improve the sense of curiosity, radiators for thermal comfort, and so on. So we both need that it is a design activity, it is a physical architectural element, and it is at the same time affecting a specific social criteria. The research questions are based on two challenges. The first one is that the possibility of losing implicit socially oriented design intentions, and this forms the first research question on how can socially oriented design arguments be captured in the digital representation of the building. The second challenge is coming from the subjective and the qualitative, even ambiguous nature of those terms, like privacy. How private is the place depends on who is perceiving this kind of privacy. Where are we talking about? What kind of cultural or social aspects are we considering? And that forms the second research question on how can socially oriented design arguments be represented in a way that prepares such kind of data to be implemented in software. So now I present the ProFormalize, the framework that is going to be like the basis of the software solution. It's a formalization framework for representing and reasoning about socially oriented architectural arguments. It is formed upon three components: the three-level model that I will just describe in a few minutes, the architect's logic behind it, and I will show also the workflow of this based on a case study approach. So the three-level model, I will go back one more time to the same quote from the architect I have just used. Installing artwork in the workplace would increase the sense of belonging to the workplace. If we divide this argument into two pieces, the first one is the artwork itself. I call that the product level. It's what building elements are we talking about here. And that creates a goal level value, which is the sense of belonging to the workplace. Those are the main components that make the basic model. But then we introduced an additional level, called it the domain level. This presents the experience and the affordance. What kind of senses are we talking about? Is it something visual? Is it something can be heard, can be seen? That's the domain level part. And in this example, we have the artwork as the building level, the product level element. We have the space where this art can be seen. That's the domain level. That's the visual ability of the building occupants. And then we have the social value, which is the sense of belonging. The architect's logic is basically a causal relationship between the design activity and the social intention. We have premises that are supposed to lead us to a conclusion. It's a cause and effect relationship. That framework is composed of 4 stages. We start by elicitation, which is about capturing these those socially oriented arguments. I was just moving around the city for the buildings where this article was involved. We collected about 80 design intentions in different locations and different buildings. And we collect them, and then we organize them. The second step is to organize these arguments in a list of design intentions and design activity. What activity did you do to achieve which goal level social value? Then we formalize these into first order logic formulas that can be evaluated to true or false. I can show you some examples of this. We used predicate logic to present this kind of information. We have, for example, a predicate called occupant P. P is a variable representing a building occupant. Room R, visible space A, and maybe sense of inspiration of that P occupant in the room R. So building level predicates and domain level predicates and goal level predicates. This is the overall workflow. And then we move to the last stage, which is the implementation, software implementation. We try to write these formalized intentions into abstract syntax trees. So regarding the first research question about how can socially oriented arguments be integrated, we set up the ProFormalize framework, and we saw that is effective and descriptive based on our communication with the architect. The second research question about the qualitative and subjective nature was addressed during the case study. After we formalized the selected arguments, we could see that we could have a good degree of representation of this kind of qualitative and subjective data. For the future work, I can show you briefly some points that we are working on currently. One of them has already been finalized, which is to extend this work and to show the theoretical foundation behind the causal relationship that I just mentioned, and this is currently under review in Advanced Engineering Informatics Journal as a journal paper. The second step will be to develop a plugin that is integrated into Revit Autodesk, and the goal of this Revit is to allow architects to, for example, click on a specific element, add design intentions to it, and save it. So any other stakeholder who can have access to this building model can easily see the design intention behind installing a specific element. And then this will hopefully facilitate communication of design intentions that are sometimes implicit or even lost during the process. And hopefully, in that case, we can improve the chances of having buildings that are all not only environmentally and economically, but also socially sustainable. I think that would be possible with this tool, as it will allow for overall or comprehensive access to building models with different types of information. At the end of my presentation, I would like to gratefully acknowledge the funding of the European Union Horizon 2020 research project pro bono for supporting this work. And please feel free to get to me with any questions. Thank you.